Making content on social media is definitely good and authentic and desirable also, only under the condition that that content be authentic and truthful and usable and reasonable and virtuous also in itself in one way or another. And that can only happen when we ourselves, as both men and women, become not only conscious, authentic, reasonable in life, but also we develop and we cultivate and learn to apply and use also self knowledge, self morality, individual standards, boundaries alongside self reflection. Obviously, in our action, behavior, habit also in one or another. So, obviously, we should make and we should post and basically make available only those content that are literally backed and supported not only by morality, reason, responsibility, but also by deep self knowledge and self awareness and self evaluation, also in one or another. It's just not that we create, and we post anything that we want or that we don't want in our image, in our interests, solely and simply for validation, attention, approval, praise from the public, which is inevitably absurd, which fades, which becomes old anyways in one or another. So definitely the people must not only be authentic, truthful, reasonable, knowledgeable, thinking, prolific in themselves, but then only they will be able to make and subsequently post only those content that are reasonable, authentic, responsible, sincere in it, in one or another, and that helps others become better in life and to rectify their mistakes, realize their minor to major problems, shortcomings, deficiencies, and basically rectify the errors and correct their mistakes and other problems. That sort of content which literally elevates the others in terms of knowledge and wisdom and awareness, and literally uh, obviously lifts them up from the depths of ignorance and despair to knowledge and wisdom and authenticity also. The content that not only helps us go viral, but also the kind of content that is genuinely reasonable, grounded, moderate, and basically reciprocal to the other's interests and helps others become knowledgeable, wise, significant in their lives in one or another. But then again, for many people in the world who are now in this work or hobby of making content and content creation, because obviously there is serious scarcity of employment and jobs in the world, or there is not much equality and justice, fairness, freedom in the modern system anyways, which is tyrannical and enslaving, subjugative, and authoritarian, particularly against its citizens, particularly the middle and the lower classes of the societies around the world. And because there is absence, or because there are no jobs, employments at all, which may very well people have shifted to this platform. But then again, in the process of also making and designing and posting content on the different digital platforms and social media ways, we have also become the content. At least many people have become the content as well as the consumer and consumption, and they have basically in the process of becoming the content and making videos and posting them, uh, obviously they have become also replaceable and substitutable with other people that might be or might not be superior or more talented, authentic, knowledgeable, capable than us. But then again, this validation, attention, approval, which we are now being given, which we have now, is temporary, momentary, and it will be very easily taken from us the next day and will be given to someone else entirely who might be inferior to us also. So it's all temporary, with the exception of only few creators in the world who are consistently gaining validation. The few men that are genuinely great and truthful and prolific in their fields are able to draw consistent viewership on their channels for themselves as well as for the others' sake and knowledge in one or another. But the many have become replaceable and substitutable and ignorant in the process. The many have literally converted themselves, and they have also been converted by the tyrannical, sinister system itself into content of consumption. Many people have now made themselves into consumable objects, and now they are the content as well as the consumption, but then again they are making money from that, obviously by degenerating themselves, degrading their significance, downgrading their personality and stagnating their mindset and talent anyways in one or another. So the many people who are desperate, frustrated because they don't get much or significant validation, attention, approval on social media, even though they are not low on wealth riches, even though they have much in life, they can be good, but still they have contorted and distorted themselves in personality, inward significance, etc. They've made repeated and basically powerful compromises with their character, virtue, boundary, etc., not only for social validation, influence, success, wealth, riches, etc., but also for attention, approval, praise upon the various social media platforms, which eventually fades and becomes old and meaningless, also alongside absurd in one or another, because all validation fades, only self respect, authenticity, truthfulness, honesty, and other inward qualities which you literally build and develop through decades of years of practice and hard work and consistency stay with us because they are within us. They are literally ingrained in us because we have developed them, sought them, cultivated them, and we have built them through our own hard work and pain and suffering and adversity, and by the embrace of all the good and bad things in life, we have become all that. But the validation fades, the viewership declines, and obviously the attention, approval plummets, and other people become replaceables, and we become replaceable, and they replace us, and we just become and remain content and consumption in our lives. So, which is very bad anyway. So, this is the dark side of creating content on social media and making videos and posting photos for mere validation, attention, approval, which is temporary and lackluster and unambitious in itself, anyways, because everyone, from the most powerful, influential, famous creator to the moderate or average ones, everyone is working for this kind of validation, attention, approval. They want to be seen at the end of the day. They want to be viewed and heard, obviously, which is their right, which is good for them. But we should also remember that we need to try to create using our creative freedom, which is kind of prized and authentic, anyways. Content that in itself is genuine and reasonable and wise and critical and knowledgeable, and that elevates not only our knowledge but also elevates and makes the others better than they were before, better than yesterday in terms of knowledge, wisdom, enlightenment. Not just any content we make is great. We can post them definitely, but the content in itself is sometimes dangerous, immoral, vulgar, unethical also. But then again, that type of content also becomes much more popular and famous than the reasonable, knowledgeable content over here in this platform and on many other platforms. So there are many problems to it. We must consistently try to make authentic, reasonable, knowledgeable, self-evaluative sort of videos and content, then only it makes sense. But again, even if we continue to make videos and post on social media, that process ultimately wears us down, fatigues us, exhausts us psychologically, spiritually, practical. Also, given the resources lack, we don't have resources, we're devoid of success, or we're divorced from equality, justice, anyways, because there is a lack and scarcity of success and basically jobs in this society and this world. And basically, we inevitably become the content as well as the consumption, and in doing so we become replaceable and substitutable as well with other people in one or another, to which we're unconscious and ignorant anyways, because we don't want to see the flaws and conflicts in what we do as well as in our works. We don't want to see the downsides, shortcomings, weaknesses, not only that which are psychological, inward, but also the problems in the kind of work which we create and make and post, because we don't want to admit our own failure, but we want to point to and object to the others' failures or successes, which is part of their own freedom and choice and independence anyways in one or another, alongside decision making. We don't want to admit to our own internal conflicts and inward chaos which we could not resolve, but which we must resolve and develop consciousness, and then again own our mistakes and errors so that we can improve upon them, rectify errors, and correct our wrongs and make a better person of ourselves than ever before.